Rise and grind, McAlester. Welcome to Harbor Mountain Coffee House at 224 South 3rd Street in McAlester. Come have a cup of joe with us and enjoy the show. You're tuned into Coffee with the Coach, brought to you by Tanny Hill Furniture, Doherty's Pharmacy, Reagan Auto, and the PC Landing Zone. Live on KNED 1150 AM, 98.3 FM, as well as video streaming on YouTube. I'm your voice of the Buffaloes, Brandon Green, and this week we have the Coweta Tigers coming to town. Matchups between these two teams have been a big deal for at least the last 5 years, and it's no exception tomorrow night, so be sure to come out for perfect football weather to support the Buffs. We're going to switch things up a little bit. We're going to start off with the players first, then we're going to go to head coach Forrest Mazey. So we have a couple of seniors with us today. We have senior Caden Lesnow and senior Ethan Watkins. What's going on, guys?
Nothing much. How you been?
I've been doing good. It's been too long for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. So we're going to start off with an icebreaker. You guys know how this works. Y'all have both been on the show before. Yeah. So tell me this. If you had to pick one food to eat for the rest of your life, what are you rolling with?
Easy?
Hey, Caden, do me a favor and pull that mic up just a little bit there.
Like
yeah, you're
one
good.
food?
One food.
Can I make it any way?
You can make it any way. I don't know if I'll.
Basic. I'm going to go chicken.
I was going to say chicken.
Everything tastes like chicken.
I like chicken.
Everything. It's a safe choice.
What do you mean?
What are you picking? Steak is a good choice too.
I was going to say it second, but I went with chicken.
Steak is a good choice.
So much stuff you can do with chicken, bro.
Like, yeah, you eat chicken like almost every day.
Both of you guys, let's talk a little more about football now. Both of you guys have been key to the Buffs' success, not just this year, but in years prior as well. I asked this to nearly every duo that's come on the show because all of them have been seniors, and you guys have had this great success over the last 4 years. What has been your favorite memory in your high school career so far?
Definitely the Del City game.
Really? Del City?
Yeah.
Well, you guys were freshmen for El Reno, weren't you?
Yeah, freshmen
for El Reno. So you guys weren't truly playing in that game like you were playing in Del City.
Yeah, I was freezing in that El Reno game.
Ethan?
I'd say the first time we went to state.
First game or the first punching the ticket?
I wouldn't really say the game. You know, we lost.
Right. But
the feeling of going onto the field
atmosphere.
Was surreal.
To this day, I mean, you guys have played in a lot of really cool places and a lot of packed places as well, but I've never heard a high school football game as loud as that night.
Oh,
It was insane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every single bit packed. I mean, just
night game, too.
And we're in the press box. I can only imagine what it's like on the field.
Yeah.
It was nuts. It was so cool. If you could, and my favorite piece of audio that I have is still that game, and not because of, being at the state championship, but like every swing of emotion, and we kind of let the play do itself after the call. The touchdown's over. Whoever scored the touchdown, if it's McAlester, you just hear a loud roar, and then you hear a distant roar. It was so cool. It's just a cool back and forth game. This is a question for Caden. Being the quarterback, you're at the position that everybody wants to be when they grow up. Being the quarterback, no one understands how difficult that it could actually be, though, until you're actually in that role. Yeah. So this is something that you can go ahead and talk to everybody about. What is something or some things that quarterbacks do that is harder than it looks?
Remembering the plays, because you got to know all the assignments on the field, receivers, probably that part mainly, just remembering. Because people all the time, receivers, he even asks me every once in a while.
Okay.
But
let him know the truth.
Where do I line up? All this stuff.
How much prep goes into that? How much studying? It's like the same amount of studying as almost like school sometimes?
Basically, yeah.
Really?
Basically.
So Ethan, for you, you've been both a starting receiver and a starting running back. So you kind of dealt it in both worlds right here. How tough of a transition is it to go from one position to the next? Is it tough at all, or?
I wouldn't really say it was that hard because
he's just different.
Yeah,
he's just built different.
That's what it is. I don't know. I've always been able to catch the ball and run routes, and I kind of grew up going to camps where running back wasn't always available. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the receiver position was kind of like my second position. But coming back to running back's been really fun.
Now, playing safety, did you lose any paint off your helmet last week?
It
sounded like a car crash from
I wish. It felt like a car crash.
It looked like one, too, all the way around. That was a huge hit. Now for the upcoming matchup with Coweta. I asked some seniors before the season. I think I even asked Ethan here which game they were looking forward to most, and the answer that was common was Coweta. From the outside looking in, it seems like it's been an intense game just because for about a decade now when you guys have been playing. You guys, a lot of big-time matchups, a lot of district standings at stake. So having played in it, though, what makes this game so highly anticipated for y'all?
Well, we own one for sure from last year. But, yeah.
It's about
we own one for sure.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing game to play last year.
That was a bad game to play in.
So even though you guys, make it back to the state championship, it's still one thing that you feel like you need to get right.
Oh, yeah.
For this year. I like that.
Always had something for Coweta. Don't like them.
Our last one, and it's always a fun one. Which player on the team would have to, and you can't pick yourself, which player on the team would have the best chance of surviving the Hunger Games? Got the new movie coming out here this fall.
You know who it is.
I can't wait to hear Mazey's answer.
The Hunger Games. Shoot.
Can't pick yourself, because I know a lot of people would just say, "Oh, I'm built different," like Ethan. He'd say that. Who would volunteer as tribute?
Will.
I
didn't think about Will.
I feel like Brendan could hide in a lot of places.
Brendan?
Pinniger's a sleeper.
Vinegar is a sleeper.
Sleeper.
I've got Will Spears, but he probably died too quick.
I feel
Too
like
quick.
I think Dustin Jacobson would be like Will, but more so.
No, Jacobson.
You're picking Jacobson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Brendan going all the way.
This is like fantasy football, but for the Hunger Games. I
I'm
love it.
going with Jacobson. Jacobson's a good one.
Well, imagine you're chilling and you walk by a tree and Brendan's inside.
He's a little man.
Brendan is inside the tree. There's nothing you can do about that.
Little tiny pocket knife.
Nothing you can do about
He's so
that.
small, too.
Oh,
Might
my
seem like a
goodness.
sword to him.
Thank you guys for your time. Good luck tomorrow against
Thanks,
Coweta.
man. Appreciate it.
Thank
Those
you.
were seniors Caden Lesnow and Ethan Watkins. When we come back, we're going to be talking about last week's game against Dell City, wrapping that one up, and then talking about Coweta this upcoming week with head coach Forrest Mazey. You're listening to McAlester Football's Coffee with a Coach here on KNED.
Thank you, McAlester, for voting us Best Automotive Mechanic Shop for 2022 and 2023 in the Reader's Choice Awards. Reagan Auto in McAlester is offering an AC performance check for $99.95. Reagan Auto now has an employment opportunity for automotive technicians with a signing bonus. Reagan Auto, 306 East Wyandotte Avenue, McAlester. Call 918-715-3236.
Hot, height! Tandy Hill Furniture and Mattress is proud to support our McAlester Buffaloes. For 32 years, Tandy Hill Furniture and Mattress has been your one-stop shop for all of your furniture and mattress needs, offering quality recliners, living room sets, bedroom sets, dining room sets, and mattresses. Stop by Tandy Hill Furniture and Mattress today and make yourself at home. Tandy Hill Furniture and Mattress, 5 South 5th Street in McAlester. Go Buffs! Have a great season.
Welcome back to Coffee with the Coach inside of Harbor Mountain Coffee House on 3rd Street in McAlester. This year's show brought to you by Tandy Hill Furniture, Doherty's Pharmacy, Reagan Auto, and the PC Landing Zone, live here on KNED. We welcome the head coach of the McAlester Buffaloes, Forrest Mazey. What's going on, Coach?
Glad to be back. Still rolling right now.
Still rolling. So, Coach, before we speak on last week's game, had the cold front move in a couple weeks ago. Got to feel good to have some fall weather in here.
Yeah, feels really good. Practice has been, unbelievable weather. We got it in before the rain hit yesterday, which was nice. It's a nice fall weather.
I know it's not going to get down to that low by the time that you guys end tomorrow, but It's supposed to be a low of 44 tomorrow.
Yeah, unbelievable. I get to wake up on Saturday and go do that with Little League. So
that's going to be fun.
It will be. It's a good weather for football.
Yes, sir. Going back to looking at Dell City, 35-21 loss in a tale of 2 halves game. What's your final assessment of that game before we go to this week?
Maybe we found our identity a little bit. I think maybe sometimes you need that humbleness. You need to figure it out. But we've got to be able to not wade in the water and see how good somebody else is. We've got to do our job. That's what I told the kids after the game. I think we felt we were probably a little intimidated a little bit going in. And we want to see, all the hype on Dell City, and I feel like we waded in the water a little too much. That off the bat, wading around to see how good they were, what we were able to do. Didn't play passively, trying not to lose, trying not to make mistakes instead of just playing football. Then you challenge them in the second half a little bit, and we were able to just do some things. But the way we play football, I mean, we can come back and we can be tempo team, but what we've got to do against Dale City is run the football, and that's the reality of it. And you can't get behind like that and come back on Dale City when you're running the football. I mean, they're not a team that you're going to big play to death. They still haven't covered that play, by the way,
I know.
3 times in 2 years.
That's what Philip said, because we were talking about it, and it's the third time, the same play, just the different
direction.
Different direction.
Like I said, so, I saw a lot of good things the second half. People don't realize that they didn't. I mean, their starters were in the whole game. I mean, that's what I expected from them. They expect to put up a lot of points. They did early. And I look at the kids, and if we didn't give that cheap one up right before half, man, it's a different ballgame. 7-point ballgame in the fourth quarter. Instead of being down 28, we're down 21. Or if we just do anything offensively in the first 2 drives, that we get down in the red zone.
If you think about the score in the second half,
Right.
face mask led to the touchdown, the
Correct.
only score that they had.
Correct. So there's some things there that, I saw a lot of good. I mean, I was very, very – I'm usually pretty down after a loss because how much the kids invest, how much we invest. But I felt like we turned a corner after the game. If we can carry that momentum of what the second half was and what the capabilities are of this team, man, if that's the top 2 in 5A, we want all the smoke. I'm just going to tell you, I feel like these kids can do great things, but they have to do it their way. That's just what we have a different identity than what every year's got a different identity. Different kids making plays, and when it's your turn, you got to step up. And maybe Ethan Watkins one week, it may have to be Jackson Lowerman the next week, it may have to be Braden Bumpus the next week. Who knows? Who knows who it has to be that week stepping up? Because everybody game plans around what you've done and what your weapons are. So you have to be able to counter and do some great things with that.
Now, you mentioned in the post-game show, I mean, your success is found in the trenches, whether it be offense or defense.
Without question.
You mentioned the word gel, which I really liked in the post-game show when you were mentioning the offensive line.
Yeah.
Bunch of new additions. We didn't talk about it all year, but it can take a little while to gel, and people don't understand that when you have all these new people.
Correct.
But it seemed like sometime, like you said, in last week's game, the offensive line specifically gelled and became a well-oiled machine for an entire half, and really – dominated the trenches.
Dominated the
second half.
trenches within 1,000%. They dominated the trenches. They did some things that we moved Perkins into guard. We made maneuver some guys, and we feel like we have the right mix right now of what we want. Obviously, still have to execute at a high level, but man, you see some things there towards that second half, and you mix Pfeiffer Mitchell in with some personnel groupings, and man, it was a really good experience for them to really feel like they were dominant again. I think sometimes I've always said this. An O-line coach told me this, and he told me this: you ain't got to believe you're the best, or you ain't got to be the best, but you got to believe you're the best.
Right. You
don't have to be the best player and the best O-lineman out there, but you got to believe you're the best. And sometimes that goes a long way. Confidence in kids is key, in my opinion. It's not confident kids make plays. Great athletes don't always make plays if they're not confident.
Got to see a little bit of Zach Rogers at tight end.
Yeah, we maneuver him around a little bit and can move him and do some different things, get some angles for him. So, like I said, we'll do a little of the same stuff this week. It's a personnel grouping we really like. We used it in the state semifinals last year and really the quarters and the semis, and really thought I got good angles with that. Although, Coach Stone does a good job with that, and we try to find creative ways to run the football with the same run game, and try to create good angles for our O-linemen.
Talk about the everyday starters often, so it's really cool to see a guy that's not starting provide some big plays for you over the last couple of weeks, and that's exactly what junior running back Stephen Gregg has been able to do. What do you think about the way he's played? 10 yards a carry last week on just 4 carries.
Yeah, he's a guy that we've kind of expected to get in the mix. Through the years, he's played so many different positions, receiver, running back. I think he's kind of found where his home's at. Doing a good job. Growing every week, growing with every touch. He's got good speed and got good power. He just, he's figuring it out. He's really figuring it out, doing a good job. And that's once again, it provides us good depth at the running back position because it allows guys not to take the brunt of the hits.
And one more player we want to spotlight before we move on is one that recently went on an official visit. Yesterday, verbally committed to Washington State, senior Malachi Rice. What do you think about his career and to the start of his season? But also, what kind of player? Because I know that when you have D1 fan bases, they're always wanting to learn more about their new recruits.
Right.
What kind of player are the Cougars getting in Malachi, for any Washington State fans wondering?
I think the sky's the limit for him, because obviously he's got measurables, which you can't coach. You know, the thing with him is he's just now figuring it out as far as, you know, he wasn't sure. I don't think he was sure football would be his ticket. He always was told basketball would be his ticket. And I think now that he's seen football, you know, he didn't always give the greatest effort early in his career, you know, and he's done a better job with his effort, done a better job trying to be a vocal leader. And but, you know, I think everything comes with time and the things you see, the things you grow into, the things you mature into. They love him. You know, their coach Brown came down and sat down and talked with me for about an hour Friday, you know, before our game, before he went to Oklahoma City to recruit a kid from Muskogee. He's an East Central graduate, got Oklahoma ties, which always makes me feel good about sending the kids somewhere off. They got Oklahoma ties. They understand Oklahoma kids. So it's a good place. I think him and his grandpa took their official visit up there. It's a small town. You know, it's right next to, I guess it's 8 minutes from the University of Idaho. I didn't realize that. Yeah, it's right by Moscow.
You never get that.
So they're right there, small town feel, like a Stillwater feel. Mm-hmm. Good high-level football, top 25 right now. They're 2 DNs right now, about to go to the NFL. So, like I said, I think the sky is the limit for the young man once he's just so raw, you know, technique-wise. I mean, who knows what he could develop into. I'm just telling you, it's he's just now growing into the person he become, and who knows what his body's going to build into as you grow and get older.
All right, with that, we'll sneak aside for a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about the Coweta Tigers and have guessed that play. You're tuned in to Coffee with the Coach. Don't go anywhere. We'll speak on Coweta next here on KNED.
Nothing's working!
Wait! We're not cavemen! We have technology!
Are you a business in need of technology help? The PC Landing Zone specializes in device repair, including phones, tablets, computers, as well as networking installations and troubleshooting, cloud backups, VoIP phone systems, structured cabling, and more. Give us a call at 918-820-4188 for your local one-stop shop for all your technology needs.
Doherty Pharmacy, your full-service pharmacy. We offer free delivery in the McAlester area. We are a 340B pharmacy, and we're a compounding pharmacy. We also have a convenient drive-through. With all of that, we offer fast, friendly service. Doherty Pharmacy is open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1. Doherty Pharmacy is proud to sponsor the 2022 football season. We're located at 622 East Wyandotte, McAlester. For prescription refills, call 918-426-5223.
Welcome back to Coffee with the Coach, brought to you by Tannehill Furniture, Reagan Auto, Doherty's Pharmacy, and the PC Landing Zone. I'm your voice of the Buffaloes, Brandon Green, here at Harbor Mountain Coffee House on 3rd Street in McAlester. Had a couple updates, Jennifer Watkins tuning in, and also Derek Hatridge tuning in, saying that Jacobson was his pick, too.
Yep. Where's Hatridge at this morning?
He's over in Oklahoma City. I believe it's a softball state.
Oh, yeah, I forget
today.
about that.
Live alongside McAlester Buffalo head coach Forrest Mazey. Tomorrow night we got McAlester versus Coweta. The Buffs lead the series 9-7 in a series going back to 92, but the Buffs have won 8 of the last 11. This is only the second matchup since 2018 at the Hook, and neither team has won back-to-back games in the series since the Buffs did it in 2018-2019. Coach Mazey, once again, it's Guess That Play presented by Tannehill Furniture and Mattress. We go back to 2021, again at Coweta, because it seems like most of the games have been at Coweta.
Right.
No score, ball at the Tiger 22-yard line, first down and 10, left hash with 1:53 left to go in the first quarter.
The first touchdown?
There's no score in the game.
Okay, jet sweep right. With Caden gets all the way to the edge and scores.
I was about to say, Caden left it just a little bit too early. He could have told you right away.
Yeah.
We don't have video of that, so.
I remember that was the first touchdown. I do remember that.
So we had the audio, so we can just have Wyatt play that from that night. Yeah, that was a 2 versus 3 matchup that night.
Yep.
McAlester won 33-2. There was your Guess That Play presented by Tannehill Furniture and Mattress. So before we get to the Tigers, now officially at the midway mark in the season, what are your thoughts on your team at the halfway point?
I'm starting to hit the stride where we want to be, I think. I'm starting to hit, I would think what I consider midseason stride, start to practice better, start to practice more consistent. I think that's kind of key with high school football is the consistency of what you do things is what you're going to get out of it. I think early a lot of times you're up down because you're riding the highs and the lows and you're trying to fill out who plays what and who your backups are and who the role players are, and you're still trying to figure a lot of things out all the way up to week 5 and 6. But that's when you hit in the meat part of your district, and really when it starts counting. The biggest thing for kids, these days to me is confidence and not losing the confidence even if you lose a game. Kids are so fickle right now. Back in the day, you could schedule 3 of the meat cutter non-district and go 0-3 and still win your district, where nowadays, even if you're a good team, if you lost all 3 non-district games, man, kids are hard to reel back in mentally. I think we've done a good job of weathering the storm. We've beat some good teams. We lost to a team that, obviously one team for sure we should have beat, but you can't play that way. And then the other team, we played well in the second half. You just can't play bad against the top 5 team in the first half the way we did. So, like I said, we're close.
So, Coach, you've got Coweta coming back to the hook, like we mentioned earlier, for the first time since 2020, though.
Right.
What do you think about their team this season?
They're a lot like us, trying to find that identity. I think they've done a good job of finding that identity against Sapulpa, trying to run the football a little bit more than they ever have.
Only 6 passes.
Right. Try to get creative in the pass game. I think the quarterback, unlike last year, is not a kid that can beat you. He's a kid that they're going to ask to manage the game, a lot like what we do with our quarterback. We're going to have you manage the game and be the general out there. And like I said, they got some weapons in Lolo Bell. And they got a little sophomore running back I really like. It hits it pretty hard, too, when Lolo's not in there. Obviously, Lolo and number 9 are the game breakers. I can't remember the name of number 9. I go by numbers. So I know that those 2 are their offensive playmakers. Defensively, they got the Maladon kid back as a 3-year starter at middle linebacker. And they got a big D tackle that played last year that's still starting. So, like I said, they've got some kids that made plays that have been on some really good football teams like us and very comparable. They won last week. They probably won a game they weren't supposed to win last week. 5 turnovers, or really I think 6 turnovers overall, 5 interceptions for Sapulpa.
They were outgained by 150 yards.
Right. The much better team, but like I said, sometimes the much better team doesn't execute the best that night. You have to be the best that night, not the best all the time. So that's what I try to tell people. You just have to be good on Friday night sometimes you got to be better than the other team on Friday night. You don't have to be the best team as them Monday through Thursday. And that was the case with Coweta and Sapulpa. So we're facing a team that's, like I said, pretty. They're going to be riding high. I know that. They're the same as us in district. I think they're, what are they, 2-0 in district?
2-0 in district. They're right now second in district.
Yeah, 2-0 in district, and we're 1-1. And like I said, we got to get back in the mix.
Now, when they do pass the ball, though, it was 27 yards of completion last week. But they all went to Kevin Robinson. I cannot remember his number. But, they had some big plays with them. So how does that connection get so open for them, at least how it did last week?
Establishing the run game.
Right.
I think establishing the run game and them able to fake some things and then hit the deep ball, hit the deep ball against a team like that.
Mention it to the players. McAlester versus Coweta has felt like a new rivalry building year after year with the high stakes recently, how competitive both teams are. So what has kind of made this more of a rivalry, at least the last half decade? Has it been the big games?
I think it's, the level probably which we play. I think he does a great job coaching, and they do a good job playing hard. And I'm sure they feel the same way about us, which obviously competitors like to compete. And so it provides that rivalry. You don't go into Memorial and think it's a rivalry game. You go into a game like this, both 3-2, both had great seasons, last few years. And coaches, those coaches do a good job, coach the heck out of those kids, just like our guys do. And I think it provides that competitive realm that really you seek in this game. So when you think about that, you think about dislike and things like that. But in reality, it's just competition. You want to compete against who you think's good. And I think that gets those juices flowing a little bit because you're facing somebody that coaches their butt off, that plays their butt off on both sides and have good fan group bases. And I think it just, like I said, it just provides that. It's not that I dislike the man. It's like I like competing. I want to beat a competitor. I think that's what it boils down to. I think that's the cool part about athletics.
I think it also really helps when neither team can get the series advantage over the last 4 years. Has been Coweta McAlester.
Right,
So.
And I think that's a very cool setting when you get in a game like this.
All right, that's going to be, again, kickoff at 7 tomorrow night at the Hook. Show up and show out. We're going to take a break. Coming up next from Harbor Mountain Coffee House on 3rd Street, McAlester. One final break with head coach Forrest Mazey, reading some of your questions. Don't go anywhere. You're on KNED. We'll hear from Harbor Mountain and be back.
Harbor Mountain Coffee House has your coffee and tea needs covered. They offer a variety of espressos, frappuccinos, and drip coffee, as well as smoothies, chai teas, and an assortment of breakfast sandwiches and pastries. There's wireless internet, too. Harbor Mountain Coffee House, 3rd and Wyandotte, McAlester. Open 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Saturdays, or visit us 7 days a week at Harbor Mountain To Go in Tandytown, or at our newest location at 418B South Georgia Line Expressway, which is open 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. weekdays and 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekends.
Welcome back to Coffee with the Coach, brought to you by Tanny Hill Furniture, Doherty's Pharmacy, the PC Landing Zone, and Reagan Auto. Let's take a quick look at the broadcast schedule this week, beginning tomorrow night in MacTown with McAlester versus Coweta on KNED. Kickoff at 7, pregame set for 6:20, radio only, video streaming near kickoff on the McAlester Radio YouTube channel. Then Saturday morning, it's one of the biggest rivalries in sports. It's the 12th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners and the 3rd-ranked Texas Longhorns at the Cotton Bowl on KNED, 11 a.m. kickoff, pregame set for 9. Later on, the Tulsa Golden Hurricane travel to Florida to take on the FAU Owls. Fun fact about Tulsa, 3 straight weeks they're taking on a team with the mascot name Owls. Kickoff at 5 with the pregame show set for 4 on KTMC AM 1400 and 96.7 FM. The nightcap is on Rock 105.1. Oklahoma State Cowboys host the Kansas State Wildcats. Kickoff at 6:30, pregame set for 4:30. Now, with all that said, we have head coach Forrest Mazey reading some of your fan questions. If you ever have one, DM us on Twitter at Buff Sports Radio. Message us on Facebook at facebook.com/McAlester Radio. And in this instance, the first person that asked me a question this week was actually on Snapchat. So nice. I guess if you have me on Snapchat, you can ask a question there also. Jay asks me on Snapchat, a fan from Texas actually here, says, which players are on the DL dog list, DAWG?
Ooh.
You ever seen that video where they ask the player and he goes, dog, and he just keeps going?
I tell you, Will Spears, dog.
Dog.
Jacobson, dog.
Dog.
Rogers, dog. I got Jaden Shumway, dog. I got multiple, man. What I would feel I could go to, I mean, maybe the whole 90% of the roster, honestly. I'd go to war with a lot of these guys. Mm-hmm. Now, some got a long way to go, too, though. You know, some have to find that dog. They're good players. But there's some things that you have to grit out. And I've kind of challenged them this week, so we'll see.
I like that. Brett asks if you could send I guess this is because of yesterday, if you could send a text or alert to everyone in the country, what would it be?
Oh, come see the Buffs. come watch the Buffs. Every Thursday night, I'd say it before Friday's game. Probably Friday at noon.
Friday at noon.
Just a reminder out to everybody in the nation.
Loud buzz. There we go. Did you see the video that I think there was some NFL coach, I can't remember which team it was, but they were a bunch of reporters in there asking them questions at that time, and they all kept on going off, and then some of them were going off at the wrong time. So
because they were getting it late.
He couldn't get an answer out.
I bet, never mind.
Andy asks, what's the one thing you know now that you'd like to tell yourself the day you became a head coach for the first time?
Enjoy it. Enjoy it more. You know, I don't think you get to enjoy it in the moment. You get to enjoy it after the fact. I wish I could go back and enjoy coaching more rather than doing the job. You know, I think that's an important thing to tell young coaches. And then learn from championship caliber coaches. I think I did that about year 5 or 6 of my career. Instead of just learning from anybody, go pick the right people to learn from. Go pick people that are better than you. Go pick people that, you know, are going to challenge you mentally in this game to get better. I think that's important as well.
Kevin's back from last week. He asks, if you're building your own burger, what's going on it?
All the way.
Everything.
Like, I'm obviously lettuce, tomato. I'm a mustard guy. Not mayonnaise. I don't do the mayo.
No calories and still got a little bit of zang to it, I guess.
Yeah, you got a little zang to it, and then you got to go with, I like. Man, I'm just so many different burgers I like. Pepper jack cheese, cheddar. I mean, all the cheeses. I mean, any cheese you can get.
Do you like blue cheese?
No, and that's a mold.
Not blue cheese. That's
mold.
mold.
I know you've seen that TikTok.
Yes,
mold.
I have.
It's mold. It's mold.
I've seen that too.
If you eat blue cheese, I can't help you. It's ranch on wings, not blue cheese.
Gotcha.
Remember that.
Ranch
and
on.
then I'm a bit, avocado's okay on burgers sometimes, depending on if it's a light, not a heavy burger.
How about a fried egg?
Yeah, I'm in. Like
I'm
I said,
I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. There's a sandwich called the Bramble in Tulsa. It's a twist of the Monte Cristo. So it's kind of topped on the sandwich, and it's French toast. I mean, phenomenal.
Where's
so many
that
flavors. It's downtown. It's called the Bramble.
The restaurant's called the Bramble.
Bramble.
Okay.
And it's breakfast and brunch.
Gotcha.
So you ever go to a concert, you stay in Tulsa, go down there, man. There's something they call it. It's a Monte Twisto, maybe. It's a twist off that Monte Cristo sandwich, but it's layered on top with different things. Gosh Almighty, it's good.
I thought Philip was grabbing his phone to write down Bramble.
It is quite tasty. There used to be one in Jinx, and I tried to go to that the other day, and they were closed. So I was kind of disheartened.
That stinks.
Yeah.
Philip, we had the last question. You want to go ahead and just shout it out real quick? Or don't shout it, but Backstreet
Boys or NSYNC?
Backstreet
Boys all day.
or NSYNC.
Backstreet Boys, yeah, but both of them, man.
NSYNC's coming back.
Okay, look, man. I will be I listened to them when I was in high school a little bit. I can't deny that.
We all did. It's fine.
It's okay. Everybody bags on Nickelback too, man. I listen
There's
to Nickelback all the
nothing-
time.
there's
I go to a
nothing wrong with
concert.
Nickelback.
Every song I listen to. Now, does it sound the same? Maybe, but okay, I'll listen to it.
You want to know something funny? I don't know if you knew this. Now I'm gonna give her a shout out here. Mary
Yeah.
was at the Nickelback concert the
Yeah,
night
she
that y'all
told me,
played
and
Memorial.
I know.
She had one ear in of the game, listening to the game, and then the other one
and
listening to Nickelback.
I didn't blame her because I said, you got extra tickets, I'll swing over at halftime.
Coach, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
No, hitting that midseason stride, I try to remind these seniors, man, it's halfway, your guaranteed season's halfway over. And you got to take advantage of every opportunity. You got to start enjoying the practices because once they're gone, they're gone. And 99-something% of these young men won't go on to play college football, much less college athletics. So it's very important that they start enjoying these small times because the stuff I remember, like I said, is the missing the practices, missing the guys, missing the locker room, the bus rides. It wasn't – I can tell you about a few games, and I can still remember a lot of games, but the things I remember are the friends.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time, and good luck tomorrow against Coweta.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. This has been Brandon Green with head coach Forrest Mazey. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, don't just have a great day. Have a Buffalo day.